Hey there, it's Brad Wilson. I'm the course facilitator for 21 Things for iPads being held at the Jackson County Intermediate School District as part of the EdTech team. And so this video is for the participants of the Winter 2014 section of the course. It's a follow-up to our first face-to-face meeting that we had on Monday, February 24th. And there were a few things that we just needed to follow up on. And so this short video will hopefully cover those things and answer a few of those questions. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out and just doing an awesome job on Monday. It was really information overload. I knew that was the way that was going to be, and it's just kind of the only way to do it with so many different moving pieces in this course. But now that we got that out of the way, we're really moving towards the fun part where once you go through the process of learning each week and getting to actually explore things at your own pace and also use the resources that are on the website and also help from your classmates in the Google community, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to apply it to your own practices. So just a few other logistical things that I'm going to cover in this video. How to check on course progress was one thing. You indicated on your exit slip was definitely something we needed to go over. That was kind of what we lost at the end of our session because of the internet connection dying. And then also just a refresher on the Google Hangouts on Air and how that's going to work for our first on-air session on Monday. So I just wanted to start, I'm going to go actually on my iPad to go over most of this. So from the 21 Things for iPads materials section, which is part of the edtech.jcisd website, we've got our specific stuff for the JCISD section of the course. The first thing I wanted to think about was submitting your links each week. So we talked about you're going to post your artifacts to your digital portfolio, which is in your Blogger site, and there's some different ways you can do that. But after you get each thing submitted and posted to your blog, you do need to actually turn that in so that I know that it's ready. So that's where this button here, the Submit Artifact, comes into play. So you're just going to click that. And this is where you need to actually get the link. You're going to put your name and then what thing it is. So first one would be thing 1. The link here has to be the specific link, not just the link to your blog, but the actual post itself. So if I click back over to my website here, this was one of my posts. Now 21 Things for Brad.blogspot is the URL for my blog, but I need the specific post for that one. So I would click on that one. And now you can see it's the big long URL that has the date and everything else. And that's where I would copy that if I was on my computer. If I'm on the iPad, I've got that open in Safari. And I'm going to click on that specific post. And there's that big long URL I can hold down so that it copies all. And then go back over to where the form is from the website and paste that link in. And then the last question says, have you or will you submit the thing feedback? And that's what we'll talk about next. And basically you just say, yeah. It's just kind of a friendly reminder that that's something that you need to do when you're done with each thing. So you go ahead and press submit there. And all of those fields are required. I will let you know that it's another way you can do it is if you're making your post from the Posts app, which I know a lot of you plan on doing, you can actually go into the post and grab the URL from that share button and say copy link. So if you just successfully completed the assignment, you posted it in Posts, just do copy link, and then go over to Safari or Chrome, whatever browser you're using, so that you can get to that Submit Artifact button. So you might do that one time per week, or you might do that, you might do that one time per thing, or you might do that a couple times per thing. It just depends on how you break up your blog posts, which in a lot of cases I mentioned that's going to be up to you whether you submit different things in different posts or you just put them all into one. So that's something to consider, is that you will have to submit each separate link, so you might want to combine them when it makes sense to. And then, okay, the next thing we wanted to talk about was the thing feedback. So that was that thing you already agreed that you were going to do. You checked yes. Thing feedback takes you to another form, Google form that's embedded here. So you choose Jackson, and then you choose the thing that you were going over. This is optional if it's a specific activity that you're reviewing. But basically, again, we're just trying to gather lots of data here so that we can make this course the best that it possibly can be. And we really appreciate you just taking, 60 seconds or 90 seconds each thing that you submit to give us that feedback. And this is going to really help us shape the course and make it better moving forward. All right. The next button here that we'll talk about on our ISD materials page for the course is the assignment status. And actually that's the one that I did show on Monday night's face-to-face session, but that's where everybody's links are at so you can see what other people are doing. And this is kind of that overview of where you're at. It has the due dates, so the first 3 things are due on March 9th, and you'll have an X in that box once you turn them in. You'll be able to see when I updated it last. So if you had submitted some but it hasn't been updated yet, then just give me a few days to go through and do that. And then the gradebook, we did not get a chance to look at the other evening, but this will be taken directly from the rubrics, and we'll talk about how to access the rubrics. For each thing, the rubrics list specific expectations for the artifacts, and the way that you do that and then you apply it to your own practices, and the effort that you take is going to be all customized to you. So not everybody's going to look the same, but these are kind of like the minimum requirements. You can see the point totals. There's a sample one there at the beginning, and then they'll just kind of automatically tally up the points. You can see that there's a required minimum for each thing. So like 13 out of 17 would be the minimum for that, for thing 1. And you can just scroll over on your iPad or in your browser on your computer. And again, pay attention to when the last time I updated the grades were. Okay, so we looked at the gradebook, we looked at the assignment status, and you want to make sure that you know how to find the expectations for those assignments. So that's on those rubrics. These rubrics are in Google Drive, and so that's why you did want to make sure you had logged into your Google account, whether you're on the browser or whether you're in your iPad or whether you're in the Google Drive app. Make sure you're logged in, and then you're going to be able to access the rubrics are all per week, so it's like things 1 through 3, 4 through 6. So if I choose 1 through 3, this is kind of a preview version, so I can click open down here in the bottom right hand corner. And this is taken really directly from the 21 Things curriculum, and it's just basically a summary or a restatement of everything that was right on the website. So as you're going through on the website and you're doing Learn, you're following the directions, this is basically just restating that again so that it's showing you exactly what you have to do, what's expected, and the point value. And that's what you would notice in the gradebook, is that these point values would match. Now if there's anything that doesn't match, just please let me know, as that we've done a lot of updating, and so we'd appreciate it if there's something that we missed, the difference between the rubric and the gradebook, and that way I could get that fixed right away. And the last piece here would be the time log, and that's something that you need to go ahead and download. Probably easiest to just do this on your computer and just be keeping that up on a weekly basis, so that when it comes time to the end of the course, you don't have to guess and try to remember back. But this is how we monitor the SCEX and things like that. Now, if you're not doing the course for SCEX, then you really don't need to worry about this at this time. But the time log goes week by week, and when you open that as a document on your computer, you're just going to be typing that in electronically and then submitting this electronically. So don't worry about printing it out. But basically, you're just monitoring how many hours you spend. Now, this is not like that all the hours that you're just sitting down and actually doing stuff. But one way that I heard that people kind of look at this at is like a lawyer in the billable hours. And any time that you're spending thinking about this or preparing to do any of these assignments, or that you have your iPad out, you're exploring, or that you're implementing it in your own practice, that really all counts. So the minimum hours here are listed. Of course, if you go over that, you could list that, but just make sure that you're meeting the minimum time that is required if you're doing this for SCEX. Okay, I think that should answer a lot of the questions that you had as far as checking your course progress, but please let me know if there's anything that you still want me to clarify. Okay, now the next thing that was a little bit tricky was the Google Hangout. And so on Monday, next Monday, which would be, I believe it's March 3rd. I don't have that right in front of me. But anyways, our first Monday webinar session. Oh, yep, it is right in front of me. Sorry, right there. Monday, March 3rd from 4 to 5 is when we're going to do things 1 through 3. And so we'll be talking about iPad basics and pedagogy, communication and networking, staying informed. So there's several different artifacts that are required for that first week. All those assignments are due March 9th. And the biggest thing is we just want you to successfully be able to watch the video with the demonstrations and participate if you have questions. I practiced this several times today with Dan Spencer here at the ISD. I know I made some mistakes when we were going through that in our face-to-face session, but I think I've got all the quirks worked out now. So one thing is, first of all, you will be getting the email notifications still with the links. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Hangout on Air, and that creates an event page. So the first thing that you'll get from me would be the event link, and it might look something like this if you've got your iPad email open. And it also depends on how you've got your notifications set up through Google+. But the ones that say, are you going, yes, no, maybe, that's the actual event page. Now the event page is where you can actually, you would just be watching the YouTube video and not necessarily participating with your face on the screen and you being able to talk and me be able to hear you. This is just the Hangout on Air, it's called. So it's the live version, and that's the event page. Now the video call invitation that you'll get right at, and that event invitation will go out ahead of time, probably maybe in the afternoon around 2 o'clock or something, 2:30, and then right a few minutes before 4 o'clock, the video invitation will go out. And your alerts might look something like this with, it says Brad Wilson has invited you to go to a video call. It might pop up in the bottom of your screen on your computer. So if you're planning on participating so that you can ask questions and follow along that way, which we recommend, as long as you're able to stay and stick around for the time and it's going to be meaningful to you, then go ahead and say accept on that. Now the actual Hangout invitation in your email will look like this. And so if you're on your iPad, remember the Hangouts are actually in the app. Now you might want to be watching the video on your computer screen and following along on your iPad, so that way you can kind of do both at the same time. But if you're on your iPad, you can really only do one thing at a time, so you'd be able to just do the Hangout, participate and watch, and you'd have to go back through and test out the things within the apps that are part of the curriculum later. And the video will be recorded, and that's why it's a Hangout on Air, is it's recorded directly into YouTube. This is another screenshot of what it might look like with your notifications, where it's inviting you into the events or to the call. Okay, so I hope that clears things up a little bit. I know when I practiced today that it really did, and I know that I can try to make this as smooth as possible for you, but we might still have to work out some kinks, and we'll figure that out. So we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday at 4 o'clock if you're going to participate in the live class. Otherwise, you know how to keep in touch on our Google Plus community. There's already been some questions and some dialogue that have happened in there, so that's pretty cool. Once we get into the closer to having our first due date, I'm sure that the chat will really pick up as people have questions and samples. And when you're posting stuff to your blog, please share it into the community so that other people can kind of see how you're using the curriculum to make yourself a better educator. Okay, let me know how else I can help, and we'll talk to you soon.